We've got updates on the Hard Eyes sequel, the Batman 2, the upcoming X-Men reboot, and more here today on Movie News Daily. Let's talk about it. All right, let's lead off on the news here for Hard Eyes 2. As we previously talked about, Mason Gooding was expected to return. Now, Dread Central is sharing some exclusive news that Olivia Holt will be back also to rejoin Mason Gooding in the sequel. Plus, Josh Rubin is looking to be the director. The first film, of course, grossed $33 million worldwide, and this sequel could shoot as early as this summer, which would set it up for a potential release there in 2027. It sounds like so. Olivia Holt, Mason Gooding, both expected to be back, and it looks like Hard Eyes 2 is pretty much a go, according to Dread Central. And then we've got a couple of pieces of casting news for the Batman Part 2. First up, we kind of get Deadline reaffirming what we thought was going to be the case when Sebastian Stan was cast, that he would be Harvey Dent, and it seems like that indeed will be the case, as DC Film News cites Deadline here as the source, as they reaffirm potentially Sebastian Stan playing Harvey Dent in the upcoming Batman sequel. And then we also have Deadline sharing that they've been able to confirm that Andy Serkis will indeed return and reprise his role as Alfred Pennyworth in the follow-up to the Batman here in the Batman Part 2, which commences shooting in June in London, according to Deadline here. Essentially what required solving was reconciling Serkis's production days on DC Studios' The Batman 2 with that of the next New Line film he's preparing, which of course is The Hunt for Gollum, the Lord of the Rings movie where he plays Gollum there, which is due out in December 17th, but he's going to be able to make both things work, so we will get Andy Serkis back as Pennywise and as Gollum. And then some news on the upcoming X-Men reboot that will be inside the MCU continuity, inside the Marvel continuity, instead of Fox now, and it is going to be directed by Jake Schreier, who he says that the Beef creator, Lee Sung-jin, and the Bear writer, Joanna Kalo, are working on script rewrites for the X-Men reboot. As he says, when you go back and read X-Men comics, there's ideology but interpersonal drama, almost of a soap opera quality. Having writers who understand how to drive ideology from personal stakes, if we get that right, that's what will feel most honest to what the X-Men can be. So they're trying to get the script right for the X-Men reboot, but he did also mention in this article, when you go through and read it, that Marvel is probably planning multiple X-Men movies, so they want this one to be good to kind of be the foundational piece moving forward for future X-Men movies and the X-Men universe inside of Marvel. And then I just had to share this from Bloody Disgusting just because I think this is pretty sweet. As director James Cullen Bressick is creating a horror feature, and he's filming it on vintage VHS-C video cassettes. So it's going to be that old camcorder style. He purchased 30 videotapes from eBay to film on, and the movie is going to be called I Have Proof, and it's going to be shot entirely there on the VHS-C cassettes. He says, we're leaning into analog to create something AI couldn't replicate, which is pretty sweet. So definitely be on the lookout for a horror movie, I Have Proof, that'll be shot entirely on VHS, giving it its own look, giving it its own feel. And then talk about nostalgia, that'll bring back some nostalgia type feelings as well. And I like that idea of focusing more on analog horror take, so that it can't be criticized being, AI or any other thing with the modern technology. Sometimes, the CGI effects really dampen some horror movies and practical effects are better. I think that this will go a little ways in helping alleviate some of those potential problems. So this is one that I'm interested in, simply for the novelty effect of it, if nothing else. And then just lastly, the first poster for a new Judd Apatow film has been released. It's called The Comeback King. It's going to star Glenn Powell, Madeline Klein, and Kristen Milioti. And of course, coming from Judd Apatow, it is a comedy that follows a country western star whose career goes into free fall. It's due in theaters February 5th, 2027. As you see there on the poster, which is the belt buckle with the title on it, The Comeback King there. Also, the C in comeback forming a guitar there on what seems to be Glenn Powell, who's going to be the lead in this movie. But a Judd Apatow comedy starring Glenn Powell sounds like it could be a good time. We'll look out for The Comeback King releasing early next year. And then just lastly, as I always like to wrap it up with here on Movie News Daily, a little on this day in movie history as I continue to put this out on Instagram and on my X page. If you don't follow me there on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it, there's my handle there, JC's Movies. Give me a follow. But some movies that were released on this day, on April 7th, you had Major League back in 1989. The Sandlot in 93, A Goofy Movie in 95, and Bad Boys also in 95. So the late 80s, early 90s delivering some absolute bangers there with what was released on this day in movie history here for April 7th. And with that, we will put another edition of Movie News Daily into the books. Appreciate you guys that continue to tune into these as we continue to cover movie news, especially within the superhero, comedy, and horror genres. So if you're a fan of those, be sure you subscribe here to the channel for reviews and news within those genres. Of course, movies and TV series, like to try and cover both here on JC's Movies. But if you haven't, hit that thumbs up button before you head out. That little like helps it hit that YouTube algorithm and find more movie and TV show fans like you and me. And then just lastly, you've heard a bunch of my thoughts and opinions. Why not share some of yours as well in the comment section down below? Always enjoy chatting movies with you guys, and those interactions help me as I continue to grow the JC's Movies channel here on YouTube. Having said that, I appreciate you tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.